The night was silent, but the silence was not peaceful. It was the kind of silence that pressed heavy on the heart, the kind that warned something was wrong. A small human spaceship rested on the cracked ground of a dead planet. The sky above was dark and broken, full of strange clouds that moved like shadows. The ruins of tall alien towers stood around, like the bones of a fallen city inside the ship. A young woman named Kara looked at her scanner. Her mission was simple: find fuel, repair her ship, and leave. She had been traveling for weeks, alone in the endless dark of space. Now her journey had forced her to land here, on a world long forgotten. She hoped to find something useful in the ruins, but deep in her heart she felt fear, because the planet felt alive yet empty. It felt like something was hiding in the dark. Watching her every move, Kara stepped outside, her boots sinking into the dust. Her helmet light cut through the black air. The air smelled strange, sharp like metal and smoke. Every step echoed too loudly in the ruins, she whispered to herself. Just fuel, and I'm gone. But her voice sounded weak. She was not sure if she was speaking to calm herself, or to warn whatever was hiding. She walked past broken doors and shattered windows. Her scanner beeped weakly, showing faint energy underground. If she could reach it, maybe she could power her ship. She kept moving, careful, scanning the shadows, then she stopped. Her breath caught in her throat. Something was there, someone was watching her. From behind the ruins of a wall, two glowing eyes appeared. They were small, too small to be a monster. Kara raised her light. The beam fell on a figure, a child. Not human, but alien. Its skin was pale and thin, stretched over sharp bones. Its eyes glowed with a faint blue fire. Its mouth trembled. And in that moment, Kara saw something that filled her with both fear and sorrow. The child was hungry, very, very hungry. Kara froze. Her training screamed at her. Do not approach unknown life. Her orders were clear. Humans were forbidden from helping alien species without permission from the Galactic Council. But this was no beast, no enemy soldier. It was just a child, weak, shaking, staring at her with desperate eyes. For a moment, the galaxy's laws meant nothing. For a moment, she only saw a child who was starving. The child stepped forward slowly. Kara's hand moved to her weapon, but she did not draw it. She did not want to scare it. The child stopped, tilting its head. It looked at her bag, at the rations she carried. Kara understood at once this was not a meeting of enemies. This was a meeting of hunger and fear. But then she saw something else, its teeth sharp, too sharp. Made for tearing flesh, her heart raced. What if the child was not asking for food? What if it wanted her? The thought made her step back. The child let out a small growl. A sound between pain and hunger. It crouched low as if ready to leap. Kara's hand tightened on her weapon. Her breath came fast. She was trapped between mercy and survival. For a long moment, neither moved. The ruins around them stood silent. The world itself seemed to hold its breath. The child's glowing eyes never left hers. Kara could feel its hunger pressing against her. Like the air itself wanted to consume her, she whispered, "What happened to you?" But of course the child gave no answer. It only shook, weak and trembling. Finally, the child dropped to its knees. It did not attack, it did not leap. It simply lowered its head as if too weak to stand. Kara felt something heavy in her chest. Fear and pity fought inside her heart. She wanted to run back to her ship, but something stopped her. Something inside whispered, "If you leave, this child will die." The galaxy would not forgive her if she helped, but her soul would not forgive her if she walked away. She stood frozen in the ruins, the strange child breathing weakly at her feet. The silence of the dead planet heavy around them. And in that silence, one truth echoed louder than all laws, louder than all fear. This was not just a strange encounter. This was the beginning of something far more dangerous, something that would change her life forever. The ruins grew colder as night fell. Dark clouds swallowed the last weak light. The alien world was silent again, but the silence did not feel empty. It felt alive, like shadows were breathing. Kara sat near her small camp light, her ship resting not far behind. The strange alien child was still there, sitting just at the edge of the light. Its glowing eyes never blinked, never looked away. Kara kept her weapon close. Her hands were steady, but her heart was not. Every time the child moved, even a little, she felt her breath catch. The child was thin, shaking, its skin almost gray. It looked more like a ghost than a living creature. But the hunger in its eyes made it dangerous. It was not just a child anymore. It was a starving predator trapped inside a small body. She took a ration pack from her bag. The plastic crinkled loudly in the quiet. The child's head tilted, its glowing eyes locked on the food. Kara slowly placed the packet on the ground, pushing it toward the child. "Here!" she whispered, her voice shaking. The child sniffed the air. For a long moment it did not move. Then, with sudden speed, it lunged forward. Kara's hand jumped to her weapon, but she stopped. The child did not attack her. It tore the ration pack open with its sharp teeth and claws. The sound of ripping plastic and desperate chewing filled the air. Kara watched, half horrified, half heartbroken. The child devoured the food like it had not eaten in weeks. Its jaw moved fast, its throat gulping down every piece. The growls it made were low, animal-like. Kara had seen hungry humans before, during wars and famines, but this was different. This was hunger turned into something wild, something that could kill when the food was gone. The child looked up again, its glowing eyes softer now. But still burning with need, it crawled closer, stopping just a few steps away from her. Kara froze. The alien child tilted its head, like it was studying her. Then it whispered a sound, not words, but a noise full of sorrow, a whimper, almost like a cry. Kara's chest tightened. This was no monster. It was a child who had lost everything. But she could not forget the sharp teeth, the glowing eyes, the danger hidden under its weakness. Hours passed. Kara stayed awake, her light flickering in the ruins. The child circled around the edge of the light. Sometimes it crawled on all fours. Sometimes it stood upright, its eyes glowing like fireflies in the dark. It never went too far, always close enough that she could feel it, watching, waiting. At one point, Kara closed her eyes for just a second. When she opened them, the child was right beside her, so close she could hear its shallow breathing. Her hand jumped to her weapon again, but the child only looked at her bag. It did not attack. Instead, it touched the ground with its long fingers, like it was begging, like it was saying, "Please, more." Kara shook her head, whispering, "I don't have enough." But guilt twisted in her chest. How could she watch it starve? Yet how could she trust it not to turn on her? The night stretched on. Every small sound made her tense. The wind through broken towers, the creak of metal, the soft growls of the child. Kara felt the planet pressing on her mind. She was not just trapped on a dead world. She was trapped with something fragile but dangerous. Something she did not understand. Near midnight, she noticed the child trembling harder. Its small body curled on the ground. It let out a low cry. Then a sudden growl so sharp it made Kara's skin crawl. Its glowing eyes turned red for a moment. Kara stood, weapon ready. The child pushed itself up, staggering forward. Its mouth opened, teeth gleaming in the light. Kara aimed her weapon at its chest. The air grew still, but the child collapsed before it reached her, falling face first into the dust. Its body was too weak. Kara lowered her weapon, her chest rising and falling fast. She should have felt safe, but instead she felt pity. The child was not her enemy. The true enemy was hunger. She crouched near it, careful. The child's breathing was shallow. Its small hands twitched as if dreaming. Kara whispered, "What am I supposed to do with you?" The galaxy's laws told her to stay away. Her heart told her not to leave. As the night dragged on, Kara sat awake. Watching the child sleep, every shadow looked like danger. Every sound felt like a warning. But the biggest danger was right in front of her. A hungry alien child, one that could become her friend, or her killer by morning. One thing was clear. This was not just about fuel anymore. This planet had given her a choice, and that choice would haunt her forever. The morning light was weak. It slipped through the broken towers like faded gold. Kara had not slept. Her eyes burned, her hands shook, but she could not take her gaze away from the alien child lying on the ground. The child's chest rose and fell slowly, its breathing rough, its body weak. It looked peaceful now, but Kara knew the truth. This was not peace, this was exhaustion, this was starvation, and starvation made every creature dangerous. Her scanner beeped faintly in the corner. It reminded her why she had come here. Fuel. Her ship needed power. Her mission needed to continue. She had promised herself she would not get involved in the troubles of alien worlds. But here she was, sitting beside a starving child from a species humans feared. She closed her eyes, whispering to herself, "You should walk away, Kara. You should leave." But when she opened her eyes again, the child's glowing eyes were already staring at her. It had woken up silently. It did not attack, it only watched. its gaze heavy with something between pleading and hunger. Kara's hand hovered near her ration pack. She had only a few left. Enough to keep herself alive for maybe 3 days? If she shared, she might starve too. If she refused, the child might die. Both choices felt like death, only different kinds. Her training echoed in her mind. Never interfere, never feed, never protect. The Galactic Council had punished humans before for helping alien species. The rule was simple. Helping even one could break fragile peace. The law said compassion is weakness, but her heart said something else. Her heart said, compassion is the only thing that makes us human. The child stood slowly, trembling. Its small hands reached out. Not to strike, not to claw, but to beg. Its glowing eyes shimmered like broken glass. Kara felt her chest tighten. She knew she was standing at a crossroad. One path followed the law, the other path followed her soul. Her fingers brushed against the ration pack. She pulled it out and tore it open. The smell of food filled the cold air. The child hissed softly, unable to control itself. Then it rushed forward. Kara flinched. Her hand went to her weapon, but again the child did not touch her. It grabbed the food, devoured it, tearing into it like an animal. The sound of chewing echoed in the ruins, raw and desperate. Kara turned her face away. It hurt to watch. Every bite reminded her of how deep its hunger went, how much it had already suffered. But she could not stop watching completely. And in that moment, she saw something strange. When the child finished eating, it looked up at her, its glowing eyes softer now. And for the first time, it did not growl. It gave a sound almost like a whisper, a small broken word. It said, more. Kara's breath caught. It could speak, not much, not clearly, but enough. This was not just a wild creature, it was intelligent. It was a child who could think, who could learn. And that made her choice even heavier. She shook her head slowly. No, not now. The child lowered its head, its small shoulders trembling. For a moment, Kara thought it would attack. But it didn't. Instead, it turned and sat on the ground, silent, waiting, as if it understood her refusal, as if it knew she was afraid. Kara stood and walked a few steps away. She looked at the ruins around her, broken towers, shattered glass, dust and silence. How many children like this one had died here? How many had starved until nothing was left but bones? Her stomach tightened, she whispered, "Why did I have to land here?" The scanner beeped again. It showed energy underground. If she could reach it, she could refuel her ship. She could leave this cursed planet behind, but leaving meant leaving the child too. And deep inside, she knew she could not anymore. The sound of footsteps broke her thoughts. She turned quickly. The child was following her, quiet, careful, its glowing eyes fixed on her every move. It no longer looked only hungry. It looked connected, as if it had chosen her, as if she had already become its only hope. Her throat went dry. This was it. The dangerous choice had already been made, not by law, not by command, but by her heart, by feeding it, by staying. By not walking away, she had chosen the path of danger. Kara whispered to herself, "This will destroy me, but I can't let it die." She looked at the child again. It tilted its head, its sharp teeth glinting, its glowing eyes deep with hunger and sorrow. And in that moment, she understood something chilling. The child was no longer just a stranger. It was her responsibility, her mistake, and maybe her only chance at redemption. The ruins were silent again. But in that silence, Kara knew one truth. The galaxy would never forgive her. But she would never forgive herself if she abandoned the child. Her dangerous choice had been made, and now nothing could turn it back. The ruins grew hotter as the sun rose. Kara wiped sweat from her forehead, her eyes scanning the endless broken city. The alien child followed her quietly, its glowing eyes never leaving her. Every step she took, it mirrored. Every time she stopped, it stopped, like a shadow tied to her soul. Kara kept asking herself the same question. Why am I still here? She had fuel to find, a mission to complete. Yet she could not walk away. The child's small, trembling form haunted her every thought. She had chosen to feed it. She had chosen to stay. And now she was bound to it in ways she could not escape. As she moved deeper into the ruins, the child tugged at her sleeve. Its long fingers pulling gently, Kara froze. The child pointed down a narrow street. Its glowing eyes flickered. Kara hesitated, then followed. The path led to an old building. Half collapsed inside, the air was heavy, thick with dust and ash. The child slipped ahead, moving faster now, almost eager. Kara's heart pounded. She followed cautiously. her weapon close. At the end of the hall, the child stopped before a broken door. It pushed it open, and Kara's breath caught. Inside the room lay bones, small bones, large bones, all scattered across the floor. Alien skeletons curled together as if they had once huddled for warmth. Kara covered her mouth. The smell of decay lingered even after all these years. The child stepped toward the bones. Its trembling hands touched one of the smaller skeletons gently. Its glowing eyes dimmed. And in that moment, Kara understood these were its family. This was not just a ruin, this was a grave. Kara felt her chest tighten. The child gave a sound, not a growl, not hunger, but a broken whimper. It crouched beside the bones and pressed its forehead against them. Kara could not understand its language, but she understood the pain. She whispered softly, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." The child looked at her, eyes filled with tears. Yes, tears. Kara had not thought this species could cry, but it did. And the sound of its sorrow cut deeper than any growl of hunger ever could. She realized then that this was not just some wild creature. This child had loved, had lost, had suffered. It was not just hungry for food, it was hungry for comfort, for safety, for someone to care. But then another thought struck her. If this was its family, where were the others? Had they all died? Or were there more of these starving children somewhere in the ruins? Her stomach twisted at the idea. One child was dangerous enough, but an entire group, that could be deadly. The child tugged at her sleeve again. Pulling her toward another door, Kara followed. They moved into an underground passage. Her scanner beeped louder now, there was energy here. But the child led her not to machines, it led her to a wall carved with strange markings. Symbols scratched by claws, stories painted in dust and blood. Kara raised her light. The drawings showed tall aliens, strong and proud, then famine, then war. Then children left alone in the ruins. Her stomach sank. This child was not just a survivor. It was the last of its kind. The child pressed its hand against the wall. Its glowing eyes turned toward her. It let out a low sound, almost like a word. She could not understand, but she felt the meaning. Help me. Kara stepped back, her heart racing. Helping it was already a crime, but saving the last of its species? That was unforgivable by galactic law. Humans had destroyed worlds for less. Her hands trembled, her mind screamed at her, "Leave. Now before it is too late." But then the child stumbled forward. Its weak legs giving out, Kara caught it before it fell. Its skin was cold, its body shaking. She could feel the sharp bones beneath its thin skin. The child clung to her tightly, and in that moment Kara knew, no matter the law, no matter the cost, she could not abandon it, she whispered. "You're not just a child. You're a secret the galaxy wants to forget." Her words echoed in the ruins, and in her heart, she felt the weight of truth. This was more than a chance encounter. This was a forbidden bond, one that would soon make her an enemy of every law she had ever sworn to follow. Kara looked around the ruins one last time. The graves, the bones, the carved walls, the story of a species erased by hunger and war, and now only one small child remained. A child that clung to her with desperate hands. A child the galaxy would never forgive her for saving. Her voice was steady now, though her heart shook. She whispered, "Then let them come. I won't let you die." And in that broken city of bones, Kara finally understood the truth. The secret of the alien child was not just about the past. It was about the future. A future that would now bind her fate to its hunger, its sorrow, and its survival. Forever. The ruins were quiet again, but the quiet did not last. Kara stood near the broken walls, staring at the alien child who clung to her arm. Her heart was heavy with the secret she had learned. This child was not just a survivor. It was the last of a dying race. And now its survival rested in her hands. But survival is never so simple. As the day burned hotter, Kara's scanner began to beep in warning, not from fuel, not from ruins. From movement in the sky, she looked up and her chest tightened. 3 ships cut through the clouds, dark shapes with sharp wings. Their engines screamed across the dead city. Hunters. Kara had seen their kind before. Galactic patrol ships. They were searching, scanning, hunting. The child's glowing eyes widened. It crouched low, letting out a soft growl. Kara's blood ran cold. The ships were not here by accident. They were here for the child. She grabbed the child's hand, whispering harshly, "Stay quiet." They moved through the ruins, hiding under broken towers and shattered walls. The sound of the ships grew louder. Dust rained down as engines roared overhead. Her heart pounded in her ears. Through the crack of a broken wall, Kara saw one ship land. Figures stepped out, tall and armored. They carried long weapons that glowed with energy. Their helmets covered their faces, but their movements were sharp. Disciplined hunters, not here for salvage. Not here for exploration, here to kill. Kara pulled the child deeper into the ruins, her every step careful, silent. The child's hands shook, its eyes glowing brighter. Kara placed a finger to her lips. "Quiet," she mouthed. But the child's body trembled with fear and hunger. It let out a small whimper. Kara froze. The sound echoed through the ruins. Too loud, the hunters stopped. One raised its head. Its helmet turned toward their hiding place. Kara's heart skipped. She pushed the child behind a stone wall. Her weapon in her hands, the hunters moved closer, scanning with bright lights. Their voices cracked through radios. Harsh and cold. "Target is near. Do not let it escape." Kara's stomach sank. They knew. They were here for the child. And if they found her with it, they would kill her too. She pressed her back against the wall, her breath shallow. The child's glowing eyes stared up at her, full of terror. Kara whispered, "Don't move." Her weapon hummed softly, ready. She did not want to fight, but if she had no choice, she would. The hunter's footsteps grew louder, crunching over stone and bones. Every sound came closer. Kara closed her eyes for a second. Her training screamed at her, "Run, hide, survive." But her heart whispered, "Protect the child." Suddenly, the hunter's light swept across the wall. Kara ducked low, holding her breath. The child pressed against her side, its small fingers digging into her sleeve. The hunters stopped just steps away. She could hear the hum of their weapons. Her pulse hammered. One more second, and they would find her. Then, a loud crash echoed from the other side of the ruins. A tower collapsed, stone and metal falling in a storm of dust. The hunters turned instantly, moving toward the noise. Their voices rang out, "The target is moving. Circle left." Their footsteps pounded away. Kara exhaled sharply, her lungs burning. The child looked at her, its eyes glowing faintly. Did it cause the collapse? Did it use some hidden power? Kara did not know, but she knew one thing. The hunters would not stop. They would search until the child was dead. And if she stayed, she would die with it. She grabbed the child's hand, pulling it toward the underground passage. Her scanner still beeped with energy there. Maybe they could hide, maybe she could find fuel. Maybe she could escape, but deep inside she knew. Running would only delay the hunters, not stop them. As they crawled through the dark passage, the child whispered a sound, not in human words, but Kara felt the meaning in her bones. "They killed my people." Her throat tightened, so it was true. The hunters had not come just to find one child. They had destroyed its entire race, and now they wanted to erase the last piece of it. Her choice grew heavier than ever. She could leave the child, save herself, or she could fight against the hunters, against the law, against the galaxy itself. The thought chilled her, but the child's trembling hand in hers burned hotter than any fear. As the sound of the hunters grew closer again, Kara whispered, "If they want you, they'll have to come through me first." Her words were sharp, filled with a fire she did not expect. The child looked at her, its glowing eyes softer now, filled not with hunger, but with trust, and in that trust Kara knew her path was set. The ruins trembled as the hunters spread their search. Their weapons flashing through the shadows, Kara raised her weapon, her jaw tight. This was no longer about fuel, no longer about survival. This was about a choice. A choice that would turn her into an outlaw. A choice that would make her a protector. A choice that would change her life forever. And as the hunters closed in, Kara felt the silence break into war. The ruins shook with every step of the hunters. Their metal boots pounded the broken streets, their voices sharp over the radios. Kara pressed her back against the wall of the underground passage. The alien child huddled beside her, glowing eyes wide with fear. She could feel its trembling body against her arm. She whispered, "Stay behind me." Her weapon hummed quietly in her hands. It was small compared to the hunters' rifles, but she had something the hunters did not: a reason to fight. They were here to follow the law. She was here to protect a child, and sometimes reason was stronger than weapons. Above them, light swept across the ruins. Shadows moved in every direction. The hunters were spreading out. Their orders were clear: find the child, kill the child, and kill anyone who tried to stop them. Kara's throat tightened. She had spent her life obeying the laws of the galaxy. She had trusted them, followed them, defended them, But now those same laws wanted her to let a starving child die. And in that moment she knew the truth. The law was not justice. The law was fear, and she could no longer obey it. The child tugged on her sleeve, its glowing eyes flickering with a strange light. Kara crouched down, whispering, "We'll get out. I promise." The child tilted its head as if it did not understand promises, but it leaned closer, clinging to her arm. It was trusting her completely now. That trust burned inside her like fire. She would not let it down. The sound of footsteps echoed in the tunnel. Hunters were coming closer. Their lights flickered on the walls. Kara held her breath. One shadow grew larger. A hunter was entering the passage, its weapon raised. Kara acted before fear could stop her. She jumped from the shadows, firing her weapon. Blue light burst in the tunnel. The hunter staggered back, armor sparking. It raised its rifle, but Kara was faster. She slammed into it, knocking the weapon aside. Her heart raced, her muscles screamed. She had never fought one of these soldiers before, but survival gave her strength. The hunter fell against the wall. Its helmet cracking, Kara fired again, and the tunnel filled with smoke. The child covered its glowing eyes. The hunter collapsed, unmoving. Silence followed. Kara's chest rose and fell. Her hands shook around her weapon. She had killed one of them. There was no turning back now. The child looked at her with wide eyes. It let out a low sound. Not hunger. Not fear, but something else, respect, maybe even hope. But there was no time to feel it. More voices rang through the tunnels. "Unit 3 down! Close the exits!" Kara cursed under her breath. She grabbed the child's hand and ran deeper into the ruins. The passage twisted and turned, every step echoed too loud. Every shadow threatened to reveal them. The child stumbled. Kara pulled it up, whispering, "Come on, don't stop." Her lungs burned. Her legs ached, but she did not let go. Not now, not ever. Behind them, lights grew brighter. The hunters were chasing. Their weapons hummed with deadly energy. A shot blasted past Kara, burning into the wall. The heat singed her cheek. She ducked low, pulling the child into another narrow path. Dust rained down as the ruins shook. The child suddenly stopped. Its glowing eyes burned brighter. It raised one trembling hand toward the hunters, and the ground cracked. Stones fell from the ceiling. Blocking the passage, the hunters shouted, their voices lost under the crash. Kara stared, breathless. The child had power. Weak, unstable, but real, power enough to fight back. She whispered, "You did that?" The child only looked at her, its small body shaking. Using that strength had cost it. It collapsed into her arms. Kara lifted it, holding it close. Her heart pounded with fear and awe. The child was not only dangerous, it was extraordinary. Above, another ship roared low, shaking the ground. Kara knew they could not hide forever. The hunters would break through. They would keep coming until both of them were dead. She stood tall in the shadows. Her weapon ready, she whispered to herself. Then let them come. Her voice was steady now. Not just a promise to herself, but a vow to the child. To fight against the hunters, against the council, against the law. She was no longer a soldier of the galaxy. She was something else now, a protector, an outlaw, a human standing against the rules of 1,000 worlds. The child opened its glowing eyes again. It looked at her. Not with hunger this time, but with trust. And Kara felt something deep in her chest. Something stronger than fear. This bond was not just survival. It was defiance. Outside, the hunters regrouped. Their ships circled the ruins. Their weapons charged. The law was coming for her. But Kara no longer cared. She had chosen her side. And she would fight until her last breath. The ruins shook with engines. The air burned with fire. The hunters prepared to strike, and in that moment, Kara raised her weapon. Her jaw tight, her heart fierce, she whispered, "I am human, and I will not let you take this child." The war against the law had begun. The ruins burned with light and fire. Engines roared above, weapons cracked in the air. Kara ran through the broken city, the alien child in her arms. Every step shook the ground, every shadow carried danger. The hunters were everywhere now. They would not stop until both she and the child were dead. She reached the edge of the ruins where her small ship waited. Its metal frame scarred, its fuel low, but it was her only chance. She lowered the child inside, whispering, "Hold on." The child's glowing eyes flickered weakly. Its small hands clutched her sleeve. It was exhausted, but it did not let go. The ground shook again as another hunter ship landed close. Figures poured out, weapons ready, their voices cracked through radios. "Target in sight! Do not let them escape." Kara's heart pounded. She rushed into the cockpit. Hands flying across the controls, the ship roared, engines sputtering. It was not ready, it needed more time. And time was the one thing she no longer had. The child whimpered softly. Kara turned to see its glowing eyes watching her. There was no fear there now, only trust. Trust so strong it cut through the fire and chaos outside. Kara swallowed hard. She whispered, "Don't be afraid. I'll get you out." The hunters fired. Bolts of energy struck the ground around the ship. Metal sparked, the cockpit shook. Alarms screamed in her ears. Her hands tightened on the controls. The ship lifted, but only just. It rose above the ruins, shaking, broken. Hunter ships rose to meet her, faster, stronger. Her chest tightened. She could not outrun them. The child crawled weakly to her side. It pressed one glowing hand against the glass. Its eyes burned brighter, and the hunter's ships trembled in the air. Kara gasped. The child's power was not gone. It was still there, but every use of it drained its body. Every use pushed it closer to death. Kara grabbed its hand, whispering, "No, don't. You'll kill yourself." The child looked at her. Its glowing eyes filled with sorrow and fire. And she understood. It was not afraid of dying. It was afraid of leaving her alone. Tears stung Kara's eyes. Her voice broke. "You don't have to fight alone. I'll fight for you." She turned the ship sharply. Instead of fleeing, she charged. Her small vessel roared straight toward the hunters. Lasers cut through the air. Her ship shook violently. But Kara's hands did not falter. For the first time in her life, she was not following orders, not obeying laws. She was fighting for something real. She fired every weapon the ship had. The sky lit up with explosions. One hunter ship spiraled down into the ruins. Another pulled away, damaged, but more came, circling her like wolves. Her ship screamed with every turn. Metal groaned, alarms blared. But Kara refused to stop. Not now, not ever. The child clung to her arm. Its glowing eyes brighter than ever. It whispered a broken word. One she had never heard it say before. "Stay." Her chest broke at the sound. A single word, simple, fragile. But it carried all the weight of a dying species. All the hope of a child who had lost everything. Kara's throat tightened. She whispered back, "I'm here. I'm not leaving," but deep inside, she knew the truth. They could not win this fight. Not against the hunters, not against the galaxy. She had one last choice left, one final decision. She could leave the child behind, save herself, or she could take it with her and be hunted until the end of her life. Her eyes burned, her hands shook, but her heart was steady. The law could strip her name, her freedom, her future, but it could not strip her humanity. She turned to the child. She whispered fiercely, "Even if the galaxy hates me, I will not abandon you." The child's glowing eyes softened. For the first time, it leaned against her shoulder, not as a predator, not as a stranger, but as something closer, something almost like family. Kara pulled the ship hard into the clouds. The hunters followed. Their weapons lit up the sky, but Kara's voice did not shake as she shouted, "Come and take us then." The ship roared into the endless dark, the hunters close behind. The stars stretched out before her. Danger in every direction, but also freedom. The galaxy would never forgive her. The hunters would never stop. The law would never forget, but Kara no longer cared. Her choice had been made, her path was set. Human against the law, human against the galaxy. Human for one starving alien child. And as the stars swallowed them both, their story had only just begun.